On the left-hand side. Oh,
So
it says live.
it says it's live, but now we're in some kind of different screen where we can't see what anyone's typing or anything. Can you?
Yes, on the left-hand side, there should pop up a couple little boxes, and the
Right?
first one is the chat box.
You're so smart.
I know.
Okay, so now no one's here.
Is it listed as public?
Should be.
Okay, well, maybe we just need to wait for people. La, 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 la. Let me open it on my phone. Oh, everything's gonna fall. On my phone.
This doesn't seem to be going on YouTube.
Let me see. Let me see. I dropped the microphone. Thing.
Oh, it says 4 viewers. But where are those viewers coming from?
Whatever you want, Michelle picked the name.
I said, what should I call it? And you said, whatever you want.
I didn't literally mean that. So it's on. It's on. It says live. So there's people.
But this
Hi,
is
people.
so different than how it was last time.
That's because we have to do it as a Hangout and not through, it's through Google Hangouts and not through YouTube.
Well, I don't
it's
like
through
that.
YouTube via Google Hangouts.
Well, I still don't like it.
Well, we can do it the other way, and you can just add me as a moderator.
But then I'll be the only one on.
Yes.
Well, then how are we going to discuss things?
I don't know. Through the comments section?
Oh my God, Michelle. I'm too tired for this thing. Why?
Yeah, let me pull.
Well, then how are we going to discuss things?
Oh, see, people are talking. There's comments. Hi, section. Melissa. But see the
no comments. Chat. I'm too tired for
Hold
this
on.
thing. Why?
Let me pull. Okay, hold on. I gotta mute myself.
Complaining. I don't like that.
So it's on. I just don't know where the chat is for us to see the chat.
There's no chat.
I know, but group chat is probably us. But where's the YouTube chat? Well, I have the YouTube chat up on my phone now.
Every time that I talk, it just switches to me, and then when you talk,
yes, that's what happened.
That's so weird.
Do you have it open too?
Have what open?
The thingy.
So I can see myself?
Yeah. The stream up on something else.
No, I can't find it. I don't.
I don't know. I just went to my subscriptions and I happen to subscribe to you, so.
Oh, okay. So it says whatever you want. Michelle pick the name, and then it says 13 people are watching, and now it's playing.
Are you watching an ad?
That's so annoying.
I hear Tina in the background, delayed when it's on Michelle. Oh, probably because my microphone. I'm sorry.
I don't see any comments. I don't understand where you're seeing comments.
I don't know. I opened up the feed and it shows comments. Sorry, I tried to do it where I had headphones and but then it took away my audio because I don't have I only have a few plugs and it was taking all the holes. So maybe if I put it over there. Can you still hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Let me maybe lower you a little bit too.
Well, this is no fun because now I can't see anything that people are saying.
Push live chat, you should see it. The thing is, we are in a Google Hangout mode, so we don't actually see the same things that you guys see. So this is weird. I was oh, I'll show you guys using my phone what we see, but that's not going to work because that's where it's coming from. Do you have a phone or something on you, Tina?
I do, but it's not got comments on it.
Well, like, I just clicked on the video. There should be something that says live chat. Like,
Oh, okay. So there's someone that says, hi, I am here.
there we go.
I hear Tina delayed in the background. All right. Well, I think that what we should do is just start talking and then just, I don't know, refresh every once in a while. And oh, someone's here with a whole bunch of question marks.
Okay. What do you want to talk about?
This was your live chat.
I know, but I thought you would have an idea.
All right. So
remember how you were going to post on your Instagram for people to ask questions and you probably never did?
I didn't know. I totally forgot about this until yesterday when you reminded me. And then today I was in such a crappy mood. So
why were you in a crappy mood, Tina?
What?
Why were you in a crappy mood?
Because I feel like crap. Because my belly hurts a lot today. And it was rather concerning. I thought I maybe had cramps or something. But then I called Alex at work and he said that his belly hurt too. So it must have been something we ate. And then I tried to think, what is it that we could have eaten that would make both of our bellies hurt today? And then I realized we ate like 3/4 of a cake together yesterday. So it's probably that.
That's what I would say. Was it chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate. I just ate the last quarter myself. It's sitting on my desk. Oh.
Just now, after you had complained to me about your belly hurting?
Yes, I ate this piece of chocolate cake.
I hate you right now.
You want some chocolate cake?
I do. Can you please mail me some? Not with that look, though.
Okay, so somebody asked some questions.
Yeah,
okay,
what do you guys want
some questions. Let's talk about something. So, what do we actually want to do here? We want to talk about the adoption fundraiser and stuff like that. Let's talk about that because that involves both of us.
Yes.
And we're both here.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that.
Okay.
All right, go for it.
Oh, I was waiting for questions. What questions do you guys have? When is your due date, Tina?
My due date is April the 21st, according to an ultrasound that I had on Tuesday.
I don't like April.
Why don't you like April? What's wrong with April? This is the second time today you've said that.
Well, April, my cousin it was his birthday and he also died in April. My cat died in April. Like, April's just not a good month.
Okay. I was born in April.
So that's why.
Joe was born in April.
Oh, that's better. Fine, she can be born in April.
Okay. My nose is leaking now.
Why is your nose leaking? Oh, April 13th. Yeah, maybe I should, like, whatever. April, whatever.
All right, so I am just going to take control of this conversation because I thought you were going to do that, but you're not. And so here I go.
I was expecting questions. Okay. So are you both vegan? No, I'm going through questions. People are asking questions now. Oh. So are you both vegan? Are you vegan, Tina?
You know, I have to yes. Yes. Michelle and I are both vegan. And actually,
it's her fault that I am vegan.
And Michelle claims to be a Buddhist. And then I pointed out the hypocrisy in her actions. And then Michelle was a vegan.
Yeah. I converted.
What is your deadline on adopting the child? Is there a deadline or a time frame? There is a deadline. Michelle, what's the deadline?
You mean deadline?
When she turns 5, you know what I mean?
Oh, yes. So I
know the answers to your questions.
I need clarification about what the question was. Yes. So she will age over my age limit when she turns 5. So, and she's 3.5 right now. So we need to get the ball rolling faster than it's going. Hoping by like April. But No, things are stupid. So maybe May or June. That's kind of where.
Stupid finances or other things?
Both. Both.
Whoa.
What's going on there?
I don't know. It's like a wave. It's like a standing up in the air wave. You really don't have any control when you have curly hair. It just does what it wants to do.
Yeah, so
sweeps her 10 straight hairs back on her head like, oh, I better fix mine too, just in case.
No, I was trying to make it look weird for you, to make you not feel
bad. Okay, so yeah, basically what happens is that when, what are we calling her now? What's her name right now on air?
I don't know. Penny, Emrys, either or.
Okay. When Emrys turns 5.
Okay, she's currently Penny until I'm done the process.
Okay, so when Penny turns 5, then she will be too old for Michelle to adopt because Michelle will not be 35 at the time, and there's something about like a 30-year gap or something.
A 5-year gap, and my home study approval is to a certain age, and over that, I would have to redo a whole bunch of paperwork. So I'm only approved till 5. So we need to get her home before then, and need 7,500 in the 7,500 Canadian.
Well. 7,500 Canadian dollars in total.
That's what ideally, yeah. Because I'm
like so that's what you need complete to get her home now. You need 7,500.
No, 20,000.
25,000.
20,000. 20,000 total. Yes.
So why are you asking for 7,500?
Because the most I should be able to cover the rest of it.
Oh, so that's like based on the fact that you have a timeline with a certain amount of money that you're putting in yourself every month, and so you're expecting that you'll be able to pay 12,500 of it by the time that she comes home, and what you need help with is 7,500.
Correct.
Someone said it sucks that the cost is so much, especially from another country. It's crazy. The cost is crazy. I can't, and you know what really ticks me off is that some people, well, I mean, this is you, but people will come on your channel and tell you things like, oh, if you can't afford to adopt a child, then you don't deserve to adopt a child and stuff like that. But let me tell you, I have so many friends who got pregnant by spending literally $0, and I don't find a lot of them to be any more deserving of having a child than you are. So
someone commented that it's basically like telling someone that they can't afford a mortgage because they can't afford the down payment up front. So if you had to pay like a $35,000 down payment for a house, that takes time for you to save up and pay. If you had to pay it all at once, it doesn't mean you can't afford the mortgage. It just means that you got to take time to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. So someone said, I have no idea of the adoption process. Why in the hell does it cost so? What's that?
My phone. I thought it was you. I was like, why is Tina you're like the only person that calls me. That in the library. So it costs so much because there's so many people involved and everyone needs to get paid. No one's going to do things for free, right? So like the social workers need to be paid, the lawyers need to pay, the judges need to be paid, the immigration workers need to be paid, and there's all these like little people that need to be paid along the way. It's probably the library calling. All these little people that need to be paid along the way. No one's going to work for free. Yeah, me and my free books. Yes, my books are ready.
No, I was wondering if they were overdue.
They're not overdue. They're never overdue. I'm really good.
No, I can't imagine you having an overdue book. Don't worry.
I cannot afford the late charges. But like stuff like flights and hotels for me to go get her. No hotel is going to let me stay there for free. Airlines don't let people fly for free. So it's all those like little costs that just add up over and over. I've been very fortunate that my agency has cut off a ton of their fees.
So the $20,000 includes hotels and flights and things like that?
Yes. It includes the orphanage fee. I have 2 orphanages fees that I need to be paid. So the 2 orphanage fees, the remaining for my coordinating agency, which covers all my dossier preparation, like all the documents together that then get sent to India to finalize everything to go through court, all that stuff, to finish off immigration and the flights and hotel to get her home. But it doesn't include your flight, Tina. I'm sorry.
Well, you know what? I thought we were going to go in February, and now you're saying April. And I don't know if you know, but I got a very important date coming up in April.
No, we're going to push it to May, and you can just bring her along with us.
Oh my God, she'll be a month old.
So?
Have you been to India?
June. We'll go in June. I'm bringing a car seat and a stroller already, so we can just use that with her. And then I'm bringing...
Where? There's no place for a car seat.
No, that's for getting there. But then I'm bringing my ring sling. So you can just baby wear.
Wow. In the car, in India. Yeah. In the traffic, in the streets of India. Michelle, you have not been to India.
No, but I've been to other countries. I know India is crazy, but what do you think they're going to do with Emma? She's like just going to sit on my lap.
So someone asked, what is the reason that, oh, you said it's a girl. I have no idea.
Oh, it's not a girl. It's not. I think it's a girl. It is not. I do not have insider information about that.
And also, like, I just got an ultrasound on Tuesday, and the baby was 8 weeks and 2 days. So there's no way for me to know if it's a girl or whatever. I just use a pronoun. That's what I've done, like, for every pregnancy. In fact, like, in the beginning, when we were first having kids, we thought that as long as we weren't going to, like, reveal the gender to people, we would just constantly from the beginning call all of our kids he, because, like, when I look at other languages, the common pronoun that you, like, divert to is just he, or like the masculine one. And so, like, that's what we decided we were going to do. But then that kind of failed, because when we had Lily, we just started calling her she from the beginning because we just knew. And now I don't know if we say she because we feel like it's a girl, or because we want it to be a girl, or because we just had Lily and that's what we did with Lily. I have no idea.
I call it she because I think it's a girl.
Michelle has always said it was a girl. So someone said, is she your sister? Michelle, are you my sister?
If only. I don't have any sisters. I wish I had a sister.
I don't have any sisters either.
Your middle name's Michelle, though. So, like...
Once, my brother put on a dress and put bocce balls in the front of it, but that's as close as I've ever gotten to a sister.
My brothers have not even done that. So.
I actually have a picture of that on my Facebook.
Oh, you need to share that.
How much money have you raised so far? So how much, Michelle, ask for like donations and stuff. I think you raised about $3,000 so far.
Yeah.
And then I raised probably a little less than that.
Yeah, because you raised like $1,800 before I had to shut down that GoFundMe. And then
like another 800. 900? 1,200.
Yeah, it's up pretty. I think it was like $1,275 or something.
Mm-hmm. So that is all the money that like we have fundraised together, but that does not count towards the 20,000. Like the 20,000 that is left is what is left, and there's already been like what has close to 20,000 paid, right?
Yeah, something like that. Like, I don't know. I would have to pull it up, but maybe not 20,000. Because it's about 35 total, so maybe like 15 paid already.
Wow.
Something like that. I can pull it up. What are you doing? I don't know what she's doing.
I got a new plant.
Ooh.
You know what's the best about this plant? It looks and feels fake. It's like hard. Listen.
It looks kind of shiny too.
Yeah, it's called a crispy wispy.
A what?
Crispy wispy. I don't know. I was just incredibly interested in it because it feels fake.
I just kill all plants. Like, I really wish I could grow something because I look at all your cool stuff and I'm like, oh, it's all so pretty. And then my stuff dies.
I thought we talked about you not killing things anymore when we talked about you being a Buddhist.
No. I saved that gopher after I ran over the other one, so I tried to make up for that.
You ran over what?
Remember I told you I killed the gopher?
Oh, yeah.
And you were like, that's not very vegan of you.
Yeah.
So as of today, $13,500.13 has been paid. I feel like I'm missing.
How can we make it bigger for you to raise more money in fundraising or something? I don't know. Honestly, I wish someone would come up with something to help me raise money, because I just want this so bad. And I feel like I don't want to put too many videos on YouTube about it, because it's going to make people totally ignore the cause, because that's what people do. But then at the same time, like, I need to think of creative ways of bringing it up and raising money and stuff like that. And Michelle has tried all kinds of things, like Tupperware things and t-shirts, all kinds of stuff like that. And it doesn't work. And I think the reason why it doesn't work is because people like bullshit, for sure. People like bullshit, but they like their bullshit to mean nothing. And then when they want to like do something for a good reason, then they just want to do it out of the goodness of their hearts. So what I'm always trying to figure out is like how to make people feel enough in their heart that they want to help. But no, I don't know what the answer is. Honestly, I had a guy contact me this week. Wow. I had a guy contact me this week, and he said, hey, I'd like to help you out. I saw your GoFundMe page, blah, blah, blah. And can you get a hold of me? And so I spent like probably $20 phoning the States trying to get a hold of this guy. And then finally I was able to get a hold of him, and he said to me, oh, I have some like great ways of fundraising for your fundraiser. And I said to him, okay, well, tell me what it's about. And he said, oh, well, I'm a Christian. What is he? When you tell jokes?
Comedian.
Okay, so he said I'm a Christian. I don't know, man. I told you I'm really tired today. Okay, so he said I'm a Christian comedian, and I do these things where like I go into churches, and I do it quite often, and sometimes it's for a cause and sometimes it's not for a cause. And so like I'll go into a church and I'll say to the church, do you want to hold a comedy night? And the church will say okay, and then they try and get all of their parishioners, I guess, to come to this comedy night, and they'll charge, $15 or $20 a ticket. He goes, oh, you get like 2,000 people to come, that's $4,000 in ticket sales. And then I'll also do like, he named off these like 5 different things that he does during the show, including like giving out a pamphlet that's got advertisement from local businesses who have paid to be in it, and then blah, 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 like listed all these things. And then he said, also there's t-shirt sales. And then also at the end of the show, I will just ask people to donate out of the goodness of their heart. And it all sounded amazing. And I said to him, okay, that's great. How do we do it? Let's do it. Like, can you put one on for me? And he goes, oh, no. He said, you have to find the church, and you have to set up the gig, and you have to print the t-shirts, and you have to go to the local businesses, and you have to create the pamphlet, and you have to this and you have to that. And basically gave me this whole list of things that I would have to do. And then I said, okay, so then what? And he said, well, then like a couple hours before the show, I will fly into town and I'll put the show on, and then, we raise the money. And I said, okay, so what is in it for you? And he said, oh, well, I've been called to do this by God. I've been, I quit my job, and now this is what I do, and I'm supporting my family of 6 and blah, blah, blah. And I said, so what do you get out of this? And he said, well, I take half of all the profits. And I'm like, what? So wait, I have to do all of the work. I have to find the church and set up the event and go to these people and do all this stuff. And then you just come here for like 2 hours and you just like take away half of the profits. And so basically your calling from God is for people to set up gigs for you so that you can make $3,000 or $4,000 a week. That's your calling from God. That's your mission in life now. And I I don't know, I felt so stupid because I wasted like an hour and a half on the phone with him, and then I had a miserable day the rest of the day because the kids were crazy the whole time I was on the phone, and that's how it is with fundraising. It's so hard. And he tried to sound like it was really about Penny and really about my mission and stuff like that. He said, honestly, I would give you the money if I had the money, blah, blah. And I said, but you just told me that you do shows like almost every week. Like you do your own shows too that aren't for a cause. Why can't one of those be for me? And he goes, oh, because those ones are for me, the profit. And I'm just like, okay, so where's the calling? How do you want to help me? It's really hard, guys. It's so hard because like I want the help so bad that I'm getting sucked into these stupid conversations that are angering me and stuff like that. And like, and in the end, I'm just feeling so frustrated because like I just need help.
You do have super chat on, as far as I can tell. So people can send a super chat donation too.
Someone said maybe a viral video. Well, what I do in a viral video?
How do you make a video go viral?
Throw myself down the stairs dramatically, but I can't do that because I'm pregnant. Michelle, you don't have any stairs.
I don't have any stairs, no. And considering I had surgery like a couple months ago.
Yeah, oh my gosh, you know what's so funny is like I'm watching myself on here, and like when I make YouTube videos by myself, I'm not talking directly to other people. I'm not talking to you. I'm not doing that stuff. And so I have a different, like I have different mannerisms. And then I see myself laugh on here with like wild abandon, and I look totally different than I look in all of my videos.
Some clickbait or something.
I'm gonna make a video called breasts, and then everyone's gonna click on it and it's gonna be like, actually, can you donate?
Something like on your Instagram when you have sex, and then it's like, well, while you're here, go vegan or something like that. I may have clicked on that to see what it was about.
You know what? Speaking of people who waste my time on the internet, let's talk about being vegan for a second.
Because... Oh, I thought you were gonna say, let's talk about you, because I totally wasted time.
Speaking of people who waste my time on the internet, Michelle, God damn it, you messaged me too much.
I know. Okay. You're like, thank God she's back to work.
What's that?
You're like, thank God she's back to work, and
yeah, exactly. Now I don't have to talk to you all.
You get like 8 hours of silence.
Is that how long it is? It feels like so much less. So yeah, so anyways, so speaking of like people wasting my time on the internet, you know what I find so crazy, and Michelle, you can probably relate to this, is like people, and I don't, because I'm vegan and like I advertise myself as vegan. My channel name is Raising Vegan. So if people have like questions about being vegan or they need help or anything like that, I am 100% available every waking minute to answer any of those questions or anything like that.
That is how we met. Do you remember? That is totally you, because do you remember, like, shortly after we started talking and you convinced me to go vegan, I was in Winnipeg and I was messaging you and I'm like, I don't know what to eat. I'm in the city. And you called like 1,000 different places and found me like vegan food. Do you remember that? You and Alex, and I was like, oh my God, this stranger is calling around in Winnipeg to find me something to eat.
Food. You're funny.
Like, oh.
Your camera's too high.
Sorry. I'm in pajamas.
That's you know what? Is pajamas actually spelled that way? Because I've noticed that a lot lately. I thought it was a pajama. I didn't know it was a pajama. That's weird.
I thought it was a PA.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Pajama. Not
I don't know, maybe American versus Canadian.
So you're wearing
my daddy bought me these after surgery. This pajamas all day long. All day pajamas all day.
These?
Anyway, sorry. What people vegan? Yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. And so like what upsets me though is that people will like come on my Instagram and stuff like that and send me messages with like unscholarly articles from stupid websites and be like, there, being vegan isn't healthy. And I'm like, what? Like, send me something peer-reviewed and cited and whatever else that actually says that a vegan diet is unhealthy, and I will have a discussion with you about it. But I am not going to read through your bullshit from like Women's Fitness Club Expo website talking about how you need to eat red meat, otherwise you're going to be fat or something. I don't know, man. People make me angry.
I'm pretty sure I got fat from eating red meat.
Anyway, so this girl was trying for a long time to make a collab video with me, and I am down to make collab videos. Like, I am down for it. And so if anybody out there is like, hey, let's like make a video of us, you know, doing such and such a thing, then I'm totally fine with that. But this girl, she messaged me and she said, hey, do you want to do a swap box with me? And I said, I'm sorry, that's a video that I won't do because I don't like to like collect junk. I don't like the random consumerism. And I said, I have everything that I need and want, and there's nothing that you could send me that would be like a thing that I would need or want. And so I just don't, like, I'm sorry, I just don't want to do that. And she's like, okay, that's fine, I'll think of something else. And I said, okay, cool. And then she messaged me another time and she said, hey, do you want to make a collab video? And I said, about what? And she said, I don't know, whatever you want. So I said, okay, well, I'll go check out her channel and I'll see what it's about. And then maybe I can think of something to make a collab video with her about. And I went on her channel, and her channel was literally a channel about weight loss. And it was weight loss that was promoted through a diet called the carnivore diet. Like, her channel was about being healthy and losing weight by torturing and killing as many animals as you possibly can. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I just looked at your channel and I can't do this. And she's like, well, what's wrong? And I said, like, your channel is about being a carnivore. And first of all, that is like so not me. But secondly, most of the people on the internet who are looking at weight loss videos and stuff like that are teenagers. And to go and tell a teenage girl who is very vulnerable and impressionable that she should be surviving on literally the only food in the world that you can eat that is super cholesterol ridden and is going to give you heart disease is just so wrong. And she, you know, instantly got upset with me and was like, well, not all of your friends are vegan, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, but I can't, like, I wouldn't hang out with someone who was like sitting around me and being like, you know, you should totally eat red meat, because it would like totally get rid of your love handles. I don't know.
You have love handles?
You know, maybe.
No.
There's a little extra skin.
You can store water in your collarbone thingies. So
I don't know. I'm so frustrated with people wasting my time lately. I have 3 kids. Don't waste my time. And then she goes on to have this big argument with me about how like being vegan isn't really that healthy. And she literally sends me a bunch of links to like these silly websites like My Fitness whatever, and you know, this is why you shouldn't eat vegan. And I'm just like, no site in the world that is actually run by someone who knows anything about nutrition is going to say eating vegetables is unhealthy. Oh, and this is the best part. This is the best part. I said to her, I'm so sorry. I said, I can't do this collab, whatever. And she goes, well, what's the problem? And I said, you are literally promoting the killing of animals in order to make people look better. And I said, like, I don't agree with like killing things in the name of vanity. And you know what she said to me? She said, I would never kill an animal. I don't agree with hunting, and I've never killed an animal before in my life.
No, you just paid other people to do it for you.
Exactly. And I said that, and she's like, no, I didn't. The animals were already dead. Magically? Like, some guy is going around and like just scraping up dead cows off the road and like packaging them for Walmart. Oh. Anyways. the point of this is that people waste my time, and that guy really wasted my time this week, and it left me feeling really sad and really dejected, and I just don't know how to raise this money. And it's so hard because like I've asked other YouTubers, oh, can you like throw a mention in your video? Can you throw a mention on your Instagram page? Stuff like that. And I've seen like so many weird things go viral on the internet. Like, you know, if someone wants to plan a trip to Disney World and they're 80 years old, can you give her a trip to Disney World? And people will literally just donate like $50,000 to give this woman the most amazing trip to Disney World ever. And I'm just like, this is saving a kid's life, and it is like pulling teeth trying to get people to just donate $5.
Welcome to my life. It sucks. And it's not even just like people on the internet, it's people in real life too. Like I'm sure people are tired of me asking like for support, and it's just like it's painful to be like I don't like asking for help, but that's become my life now. It's like I don't know.
Someone wrote, wow, people think animal meat grows on trees. No, if people thought animal meat grew on trees, then they wouldn't eat it because that would be too healthy and obviously very gross.
Obviously. You know, there's those people that don't eat any vegan food at all.
Yes, I love when people say that to me. I've never eaten vegan food.
So you've never had an apple?
Or a piece of corn, or I don't know, a plate of rice.
Yeah, it's really hard. I'm like so tired of it.
You're so tired of what? Oh.
The adoption stuff, like
Well, maybe you should just give up then.
Huh?
Just give up then. Just forget about it. Just leave her there in India because no one wants to help.
No. That would be like quitting in the last mile of a marathon. Knowing that at the end of that marathon, if you don't finish that marathon, they're gonna kill someone. Like
that's the worst.
That's how it is though. Like there's so many little girls dying of starvation in India in orphanages, plus like in general. And unfortunately, the older a child gets, the more unlikely they will be adopted, and then they age out, and then they're thrown on the street and sold into sex trafficking and all that good stuff. Yes, it will all be worth it in the end. Just ugh. Ugh, ugh, ugh. But I do have links for donations. I don't know if it's going to flip backwards or not. Though.
Your internet's going crazy.
Because I'm flipping the screen. What the hell? Is that you calling me? Okay, I swear.
Thinking that I'm calling you. Return your library book.
Seriously. Nobody ever calls me other than and you. No one. No one. And the doctor. But this can't be the library because this is 2 times they've called.
Well, pick up the phone.
I'm not going to pick up the phone. They can go away.
I kind of want to know who it is now.
They're not leaving a message though. Like, and the library would leave a message.
Can you just spend like the $5 on call display, please?
I have call display. It just doesn't say who it is. And I'm not going to like publicly show someone's phone number.
Okay, well, I was just going to say, tell me the phone number and I'll give them a call.
I'm not going to call. If I knew who it was, I would possibly answer it because then I'd be like, oh, by the way, I'm doing a live video right now. But like, seriously, the people that have called me is this random person, you, my mom, Doctor.
Have the GoFundMe page up. Like, it's not you anymore.
Doctor. The vet. Doctor. Shoppers Drug Mart. And back to the beginning. Like, seriously, and that's probably last like 2 weeks. Shoppers Drug Mart.
Oh, I feel so sick right now, and I really have to burp in order to make myself feel better.
Just do it. Get it over with. No one cares. Do you guys
care? That was really nasty.
Pages that are run by Indians to share. We have asked probably like every single flippin' person in this world to share it, and we usually get ignored. That's pretty much it. We usually get ignored.
Where is the kids at, Tina? The kids are at the park right now because they were being really crazy today, and I did not want them here while I was doing this. Like, today was too hard. A lot of people ask me that, like, all the time, actually. I get messages on my YouTube channel being like, how do you keep it together and you're with the kids all the time and you homeschool and this and that? And I have some bad days. It is not all fun and games. And today was a bad day. Like, I felt really, really sick, and Lily wouldn't nap, and I so regretted weaning her because she would have fallen asleep super easily if she wasn't weaned. And the kids were crazy because it's like James, especially, like, as soon as someone in the house is sad, he just like feeds off of that, and he's like, I'll just up the energy in here and then everyone will be better. And then he just like cranks it right up and never
Trust me, she does not keep it together. You are amazing, Tina. You are amazing, and I have no clue how you do it when I am lucky that I can keep myself together half the time.
But I'm not always amazing.
But no, no one's always amazing.
James said to me like 2 days ago, Lily was being crazy, and I like yelled at her. And then afterwards, James came up to me and he's like, I would really hate to be Lily right now. And I'm like, why is that? And he goes, because all she gets is yelled at for doing bad things.
Oh my God. So this person, I have no clue who they are. I just searched them up, and if your name is Brandy and you live in Medicine Hat and you are calling me right now, I don't know how you got my number. Probably wrong number.
How do you convince your kids to get along? I don't. My kids don't get along. James gets along with Lily really well, and Joe gets along with Lily like 50% of the time, but James and Joe do not get along, and there's nothing I can do to convince them to. Today, I was really, really upset, and I was feeling sick, and I was doing some laundry. My whole bed is just a giant pile of laundry. In fact, here.
Oh, you're gonna actually show it.
Yeah. There's my pile of laundry on the bed that's like literally, I think our whole family could hide underneath it. That's how big it is. So anyway, so I was doing laundry today in an effort to hide out away from the kids and also get stuff done. And then James came in, and I just leaned back against the headboard of the bed, and he goes, Mom, Joe said this and I did this and blah, blah. And I said, James, when I had kids, do you think that I thought, you know what'll be really fun? Listening to them fight every minute of every day for the rest of my life. And he goes, what do you mean? And I said, do you think that that's fun for me to listen to you fight all the time, every day, and not get along with your brother? Do you think that's why I had siblings for you, so that you could fight with them all day? And he goes, no. I'm like, so what do you want me to do, James? What am I supposed to do? Tell me how I can be happy with all the decisions I've made. And he goes, I guess we have to get along better. Today was not a good day.
Oh.
Looks like my bed. I'm cleaning up my room as I watch the stream. For real, I actually love laundry and folding. You can come do mine. What do you do for jealousy? My 3-year-old has started hitting his 18-month-old sister. You just have to wait, and like eventually she'll be big enough to hit him back. I don't know. Kids fighting is so hard. That's the one thing that I have no control over. And like, I have so many parenting books that like I read and I reread, and I'm actually in the middle of 5 of them right now, which are all on top of my desk. And just none of them have given me the advice that I need about how to stop the combat, because in our house it's crazy. The kids are like, they're fine if I'm in the room with them and like I'm controlling the activity, but the second that I'm not paying attention, it's just fighting. And the only time the kids don't fight is after they know it's their bedtime and I tell them they can go play in their room. And then they can get along for 4 hours straight, but all day long, it's just, Mom, James did this, and Mom, Joe did that, and I did this because they did that, and Lily's doing this.
That sounds pretty accurate. Someone said that James is an Alex. Yes. Yes.
Yes. James is an Alex, and Lily is a James, and
Joe is just
want another Joe so bad, but I have a feeling that this is going to be another Alex.
So you can just give me Joe, and then...
No! You know what? Everybody of my friends asks for Joe, and I'm so tired of it. Someone asked for James instead.
Okay, I'll take James.
You wouldn't actually.
I would.
Michelle.
I wouldn't adopt Penny then, though. Because I don't think I could handle just James. I could handle just James.
Anyone could handle just James. It's handling James and anything else in your life.
Yes.
Pretty much. Poor James. I know you got pregnant naturally, but do you have any advice for a lesbian couple who is TTCing? We are on month 4, and we are so ready to be moms and done with this part. I don't know, but I really hope it happens for you guys.
I have videos on my channel from TTCing when I was TTCing.
Michelle apparently has some graphic videos of her inserting stuff in her womb.
Yes, yeah. It's called like home insemination process or procedure or something like that. I'm not showing anything. I'm just talking about it. Someone said, I don't know where it was, but I read it. Something about like sharing and seeing that people are clicking but not doing anything. Yeah, like GoFundMe sucks for that. I'm kind of glad that I don't have access to the GoFundMe anymore, because seeing the link for the GoFundMe should be above my head. Seeing the stuff for the GoFundMe.
I guess because your internet connection got bad, the link for the GoFundMe is kind of wibbly now.
Darn.
Dang.
Yeah, I'll try it. But anyway, with the GoFundMe, you can see how many people have clicked and visited the page. And it was so upsetting to see how many thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people would go and see the page, but not actually donate. So it's like, if everyone that had donated just $1 that had visited the page, we would have been fully funded by now. Like, it's ridiculous. Now that I don't have access, I don't get to see that. Tina does, though. And also with my Reese's Rainbow grant, I don't get to see anything. I just see money. I don't see who donates it. I don't see how much was donated. I don't see how many people have visited it. So that's a bit better, because it's...
I don't know how many people have visited the page.
No, I don't. Probably a lot.
Cover your ears. Cover them. 7,710.
Yeah. Yeah. So if every person just donated $1,
then we would have had over $7,000. But instead, we raised $1,200. And you know what? I feel bad saying stuff like that, because it makes me feel like people might think that I'm ungrateful for what they did donate. And for every person who did donate, I am so grateful. Like, I am so a million times grateful. And like Michelle will share with you guys that like when the donations were rolling in, I was like calling her up excitedly, and I was in tears, and I was all kinds of things. But like when I
we were like messaging back and forth, oh my God, there's another $5. Oh my God, another $5. Because all that money adds up. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing.
But like, then when I see 7,000 people have visited the page, and I'm like, if every one of those people did the minimum donation, which is $5 Canadian, we would have had all the money.
Yeah.
We would have had all the money right now for the entire adoption if people only just donated as much as it costs to buy a Starbucks coffee. It's actually less than it costs to buy a Starbucks coffee. And I know this because I never buy Starbucks coffees, but 2 nights ago, I was in a really crappy mood and I went to Starbucks and I bought a thing and it was like $7.
Yeah, I get gift cards. I am very fortunate that I get gift cards from my students all the time. And so I get Starbucks. And now I don't have any. And now I'm sad. And I'm like, I'm going to probably have to wait till Christmas before I get one again.
Do any students give you apples?
No, I haven't got any apples. I
Oh.
wish. I've gotten like food that I can't eat.
Ew. Here's a cheese string.
Hmm?
A cheese string?
No, like chocolates.
I don't know. But you know what's so crazy is like I saw this ad for cheese strings came on before one of my videos, and it was an ad about, I don't know, dragons or something. It was totally unrelated to cheese. And then they were like, made with the goodness of skim milk. And they were like pouring the cheese into a string shape. And then the kids were like, ah, cow milk.
My school has a milk program. It's really, oh, I hate it.
Yeah, the school.
I'm currently trying to post the link.
To
the GoFundMe.
Oh. Did someone ask for it?
Yeah. This should work. But I'm like trying to do it on my phone and it didn't pop up as a link. Probably because I have to add like some.
Oh, a lot of people are asking questions now.
Oh.
It's not about the thing. Are you wanting a boy or a girl? I don't care. James really, really wants a girl though. It's like all he talks about. And Joe, he said that he wants a girl to even out the family, but he also would like it to be a boy. Like Joe is very diplomatic about his answer. And then
it's gonna be a girl, whatever.
Tina, are you thinking about free birthing? A little bit, because the midwives that I have right now, and I was actually editing that video today because I went to see midwives on Monday, and they are not supportive of me having a home birth, and instead they want me to drive to a hospital that is in a totally different city, and I am super uncomfortable with that because when Lily actually started coming out, like when I felt like I was ready to have Lily, she came out 8 minutes later. So for me to drive any distance in order to have her really freaks me out because that's the recipe for having a baby on the side of the road.
I wish I could come. I would totally be like your doula.
You wish you could come here?
Yes.
You can't come here. You need to save every penny for the adoption.
I know. I can't take time off work in April anyway.
When your babies turn 1, do you give them cow milk? No, because cow milk is, okay, so a lot of people don't know this. So I'm going to tell you guys this now, because I don't want anyone to feel stupid or feel like I'm making fun of them, because I did not know this for my whole life till I was like 24 years old. Cows.
You taught me this. So
cows don't just make milk. Like I always had this idea for my whole life that like cows, like a god out there created cows as this like magical creature that just like produces food for people. And the truth is that cows are mammals and they make milk for the exact same reason that I make milk, which is if I have a baby and my baby needs to be fed, my breasts make breast milk. So cows actually make milk for the same reason. If they are pregnant and having a baby, they start making milk in order to feed that baby. And so what the farmers do is when the baby is born, they, depending on what kind of farm, if you have a tiny family farm, which is very, very rare, they'll leave the baby with the mom for a week or so, whatever. If you have like a big factory farm or something like that, they will pretty much instantly, sometimes right in front of the mother cow, just shoot the baby and get rid of it. And then they take the breast milk from the mother cow that was meant for her baby, and they just pump it all out and process it and give it to humans. And it's actually really disgusting. Like if you look into, there is a legally allowable amount of pus in every brand of milk. So like there's actually like, I think that they, what do they call it in milk? Like when you read the label for like a dairy company and it says this many somatic cells. and that is the amount of pus that is in their milk, because it's breast milk. And a lot, when you pump your breasts a lot, right, they start to get all cracked and chafed and stuff like that. So there is like legitimately pus and blood in cow's breast milk, and then they just like whitewash it and sell it to you, and then the doctors tell you you should give this to your baby when he turns 1. But really, the breast milk that your kid needs, and the only breast milk your kid needs, is your own. Cows don't just make milk. Truly, you need to forcibly impregnate a cow, which, I mean, some people don't like when I use the word rape. I'll say you need to rape a cow in order to make her produce breast milk. And people say, well, it's not rape because she's not a human. So you need to force your arm into the cow's vagina against her will and inseminate her with bull semen, which someone also has to collect that. That is that you pay someone to do that when you buy dairy milk. And they get the cow pregnant, and then they take the baby away, and in some cases the baby becomes veal, in some cases the baby becomes a mother cow who, you know, makes baby cows to do this again, and in some cases the cow just gets shot on the spot. But the mother cows, and this is something that you can actually research because the farmers say it, the mother cows usually cry for days and weeks for their baby because they had a baby. They felt it growing inside of them for 9 months and kicking and moving and stuff like that. And then when they gave birth, what was supposed to be the happiest day of their life, because all animals feel the same way we do, the farmer just took the baby away and shot it so that someone else can give their baby cow's milk at 1 year old. It's really a disgusting process.
It is. There's my tattoo.
Someone said my kids are allergic to cow. What's that?
Oh, or is my tattoo is a baby cow and a mama cow.
I need more tattoos.
I got this the day I went vegan. Yes, cows are big dogs, really. Yes, like there's so many videos that I've seen, like from sanctuaries, that are just crazy. That like how intelligent cows and pigs and like it's crazy. And I would never go and make my dog pregnant and then drink her milk. Like, could you imagine?
Are you sure you don't want to drink your dog's milk?
Taylor, come here, puppy.
That's the other thing that people say all the time. People are like, how do you live without milk? How do you live without cheese? Stuff like that. It's like, well, how do you live without giraffe milk and dog meat? Like, it's the same thing.
Exactly.
Someone said, it's so sad for me as a woman and as a possible future mother that there's so much rage and loss with dairy. And that is so true. Like, I get asked, one of the number one things I get asked when I tell people I'm pregnant is, oh, well, do you have any non-vegan pregnancy cravings or anything like that? Like, does it push you to not be vegan? And I'm like, if anything, I can so much more relate with all of the mother animals, because like almost everything in animal agriculture is literally just like an exploitation of motherhood. And that's something that like I can't not think about. I can't turn my back on that or turn my mind off of thinking about that just because I'm pregnant. Like, if I'm honest, I am so much more connected with being vegan when I'm pregnant than when I'm not.
I crave non-vegan stuff all the time.
Michelle, that's nasty.
I know. What was it the one time you were like, that's so gross, but I can't remember what it was.
I wonder why. That's so, you know what? I found like literally after a couple of weeks, I never thought about it again.
There's only like certain things. Usually it's like junk food, like McDonald's chicken nuggets, like a very specific, like.
Yeah, but if you're craving McDonald's chicken nuggets, you can just buy like the fake chicken nuggets. They taste exactly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm not saying that I need to go and eat them, obviously. I'm not. But like KFC, right? Like KFC has that distinct taste to it that you can't replicate, and like it's totally nasty, but I'll crave it.
Michelle.
I also didn't go vegan for the animals, so that probably helps.
You didn't go vegan for the animals?
No. I went vegan because you told me it would help me with my endo. And then And then you recommended me read that book.
The
Environment.
Frank, what is that book called now? It's by Richard Oppenlander.
Well, you remember the author, but not the name?
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy? Now it's gonna make me crazy. This is a really good book, guys. If you guys are looking for something to read, Richard Oppenlander. Comfortably Unaware.
There we go. Comfortably Unaware. It was amazing. I read that while in Winnipeg because that was like, you turned me vegan like the day before I went to Winnipeg. And so I read it like in an evening. It was great. Like, so first you convinced me with the health, and you had me watch The Best Speech Ever on YouTube. So that kind of gave me like an idea of like everything. And then I went vegan for my health because I was like, holy shit, I'm going to die if I don't change. I was 360 pounds at the time, probably had high blood pressure, probably had high cholesterol, probably was on the verge of a heart attack. So health was first. And then I was like, oh, because you were like, oh, you're into cloth diapers and stuff. So here's another thing you should do. And then it was like, oh yeah, and I'm Buddhist and probably should give a shit about the animals too. So that was kind of like the last.
I'll attack anyone from any angle. There's a million angles.
There is, but people don't like to listen.
No.
Because they don't want to hear the truth. They don't want to hear it. Like, they know it.
This is what I figured out about people. People are okay with hearing the truth as long as they don't have to change anything in their life. As soon as someone has to change something in their life, they don't want to hear the truth anymore, and they're willfully ignorant to it. So like, people here in America, they sit here and they are outraged by like the Yulin dog meat festival and stuff like that, because it doesn't affect them. They don't have to make a single change to their lifestyle in order to be outraged about that. But if someone has to put any amount of effort forth into like changing their lifestyle, they would rather ignore an issue than be angry about it, even if it's something that would normally make them angry.
But like for me, because I started to go plant-based for health, and like with weight loss and stuff, like people will ask, well, what weight loss tips do you have? Well, are you vegan? If you're not, there's the place to start. And then it's like, oh, well, I can't get rid of meat. I can't get rid of cheese. And it's like, okay, so you are willing to kill yourself. You are willing to kill yourself, especially people doing like keto or the carnivore keto and stuff like that. It's like, you are killing yourself to become thin. You're not making yourself healthier. You might lose some weight temporarily, but you're killing yourself in the process.
And you know what I find about keto and stuff like that, where people start to lose weight in the onset? Those people have such a crappy diet filled with processed foods that even though they're shifting to an equally unhealthy diet, because they're eating whole foods, they start to lose weight. And then they think that they should equate the weight loss with them being healthy.
But a lot of the people I've seen that are doing keto are like cheese and bacon. Like, yeah, they're not eating anything. Like, they're eating so much garbage. Like, it's horrible.
I got so many stickers at Veg Fest.
Oh, I'm jealous.
The kids love these stickers. They don't even know what's like really on a lot of them. I told them they're all vegan messages, but they stick them on everything.
That is awesome. And see, I saw the one with the whale, and so many people are against like SeaWorld and stuff. And you look at the sizes for like pig farms and stuff, and the tiny little cages those pigs are in, it's no different than what SeaWorld does with their orcas. Like, crazy. Sorry, I'm like totally lost in the comments.
So someone wrote, I could live without milk and meat pretty easily, but I would miss cheese. I really love cheese a lot. And I think that, like, Michelle, you crave cheese still sometimes, right?
Yeah. And what I found is over the years is we are so lucky to live when we live, because there are so many alternatives now that even when I first went vegan, were not options. Like Daiya just came out with that cutting board brand.
Cutting board shreds.
Oh my gosh. They are fantastic. They melt so much better than the previous ones. The other ones tasted like puke.
That's literally what was in this cup a few minutes ago, and I ate it right before I turned it on.
I'm very jealous of you. Earth Island, which is Follow Your Heart in the States, Earth Island in Canada, they have slices that like grilled cheese. Oh. I'm not eating processed food this month, and this is gonna make me just like
family-friendly cast here.
Yeah. Nutritional yeast. Oh my God. Okay. So I thought that stuff tasted like stinky feet to begin with. And I eat it on everything now. I made a cashew mac and cheese the other day, and it lasted 2 meals. It like there's so like we're so lucky that there's so many alternatives. Like there's recipes for pretty much everything now. Like when I first started looking at stuff, that would have been what, 2015? Yeah, 2015. And there was a couple blogs out there, a couple recipe books, but now the internet is just so full of stuff. And you can get stuff pretty much anywhere. I thought someone asked about groceries and I was going to reply, I get my groceries at the store. But legitimately, like, unless you live where I lived when I first tried to go vegan in 2015, almost all grocery stores have at least a small section for vegan. And if you're eating processed vegan stuff, Tina's like, go, that's great. I mean, because I'm trying to do it for my health, the process isn't so great. So like this month I'm doing no processed food, and I almost ate candy today. And then I was like, don't do it. But, like you can find it pretty much anywhere. Like I don't live in a big city. I live close to big cities, but I don't. Last year I lived in a semi-remote location that was 3 hours from Walmart. So, and they had vegan products there. I was able to get tofu. I was able to get some, what's that brand that has the nuggets, Tina? Eve's. So Eve's had a bunch of different brands, Hellmann's vegan mayonnaise, like there was just a bunch of different stuff that I could still get. And that was in a semi-remote location that was nowhere near a city. I used to live in a flying community when I first went vegan. Not even going to wonder what you're doing. When I first went vegan, I lived in a remote flying community. And if I had known then what I know now, I could have went vegan there. But Tina got me to at least be vegetarian long enough for me to get into living in the city. And then I went vegan. But seriously, you can go vegan anywhere. Like I could have done it there if I had known what I know now about like eating whole food plant-based as opposed to just junk food vegan. But anyway, there's my random rant. Whose idea was to go vegan first? You or Alex?
Michelle, do you know?
I think it was him, wasn't it? And he convinced you?
It was Alex who went vegan first. Yeah.
Oh, this is like trivia. How well do you know raising vegan?
So, Alex and I did like a vegan challenge, which you guys probably remember. We started it when James was 5 months old. We were moving into our first house, and we said to each other, since there's going to be no groceries in the house, well, we'll just do this vegan challenge for a month. We're going to be vegan. And we started, and we felt so amazing. You don't realize how crappy you always feel till you don't.
Oh my God.
God damn it.
How do I mute myself?
Oh, she like legitimately put it on mute.
Oh,
anyways,
it's the library.
It's the library.
This wasn't who was calling before.
Anyway, so yeah, and then after that, like, and this is the thing, it's like a lot of people say to me, like, how do you go vegan? Like, do we do that 30-day challenge like you did? What do we eat? Stuff like that. And I usually tell people, actually, don't focus on food at all. Because Alex and I focused solely on food when we went vegan. We just changed our diet. And so we were plant-based, and we would have cheat days for almost a year, actually for exactly a year, because we weren't doing it for any moral reason. We weren't doing it for any health reason. We were just doing it because it was something that we got used to doing that made us feel better. And so we just kept doing it. But there was nothing to like really push us to the point where we were vegan and we had like thoughts about it. And then shortly before Joe was born, Alex went online and he watched a video called The Best Speech You'll Ever Hear by Gary Yourofsky. And if you are at all interested in anything that I'm saying, then you should go online and watch that speech because Gary is incredible. But Alex went and watched that speech, and in the middle of the speech, he did this little, it's a tiny clip. You can skip through it if you really need to, but and it's about baby pigs. And Alex watched that and he said, it reminded me so much of what our baby was going to look like when he was born, because this was right before Joe was born, that he said, I realized that like I couldn't put other baby animals through that. And Alex went vegan on the spot. Like he was like, I'm vegan now. And I think for about 5 weeks after that, Alex was vegan, and he said that James was vegan and that Joe would be vegan, but he said I could do whatever I wanted to do. And then he started getting really involved in like doing research about being vegan and watching videos of other people who are vegan talking about like the ethics behind it and things that actually happen to the animals and stuff like that. And he came to me one day and he was like, I need you to start doing the same research that I'm doing, because if I'm going to be married to someone, I need to make sure that their heart is in the right place. And that is the truth, is that Alex would have left me if I didn't look into the ethics behind being vegan, because it's really, really hard. Like once you open your mind and you open your heart to like how easy it is to live a life without harming anybody else, it's really, really hard sometimes to see good in people who are okay with harming others.
Sorry, I just need to feed off my dog for a second. I want to feed off your nipples here.
Stop abusing your dog.
There were some questions that I was going to say that you should answer, but I lost.
So someone said, if you had your own animals, goats, cows, and chickens, and you could give them comfy and safe living quarters, would you eat the eggs or milk? No, because it's not food. Like cow's milk, first of all, if I had my own cow, I would still have to rape her and take her baby away in order to have her milk. Like you can't just have a cow that makes, cows don't just make milk. They're not magic. They make milk because they have a baby. And so if you, like, a lot of people say that to me, like, what if you did it ethically? Well, let's talk about that. So you have a cow and you meet up with a farmer who has a bull and they get at it, and then you have this baby cow and the mom's making milk. So the cow eats every single day of her life 20 times what you eat in weight. That's how much food that cow eats. And then her baby will eat eventually 20 times what you eat every day. And regardless of how much milk you take from the cow, after about 3 years, her milk supply will, peter off, and then you won't be able to get milk from her anymore. So for 3 years, you've been feeding this mother cow 20 times the amount of food that you eat every day. And after about a year, you've been feeding her baby 20 times the amount of food that you eat every day just to get a tiny bit of milk from her. And then the milk runs out. And then what do you do with her and her baby? How do you ethically carry on if you can no longer get the milk from her because she's not making it, but you also can't separate her from her family, because that's not fair, right? Like that baby is hers and you can't just take the baby away and assume that she won't feel anything. Right? Like there is literally no actual way to ethically take things from an animal, because we are animals too. And if you think about like your needs and your wants and your desires, you would never want someone to take something from you and not give you anything in return.
I'm just going to address the chickens. Someone asked about chickens. Chickens only lay eggs once a month. We have forced them to lay more than that because we take them away. And eggs producing an egg takes so much calcium from the chicken and so much nutrients from the chicken, and they usually will eat their own eggs that are unfertilized in order to have those nutrients, replenish their own nutrients. So by us taking those eggs away, they can't replenish those nutrients, and then they lay another one and another one and another one when really they only normally lay them once a month. So that is why.
But then on top of that, like, okay, so if you had a pet
plus chicken, what they are.
Like, okay, if you had a pet chicken and then it menstruated every month, like its period popped out an egg from its ass vagina every month, why would you eat that? Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, I've heard of like people having like dogs that like they don't get fixed and then the dog has a period, or like I would never in a million years be like, pass me some of that dog period and I'll just spread it on my toast. Like, no, like I would not my animals' periods.
Period. It probably has so much iron though. All that period blood.
No. Oh God. Has anyone actually seen a chicken laying an egg? Its ass vagina goes in and out, and like pus comes out, and poo and pee and everything else that comes out of the same hole, and then the egg pops out, and that is the chicken's ovulation. And then you're like, let's wash this and scramble it.
And just like the health, like the amount of cholesterol and garbage that's in it, and like. Why would you?
There is more cholesterol in one day than humans can. What do you call that? When you like use something with your body, there is more cholesterol in one egg than we are supposed to intake in one day because we can't actually process it. So every time that you eat an egg in a day, you've already had all the cholesterol that your body can process, and you're just building up your cholesterol levels.
Yeah, those that kept chickens, I don't know. I've never had chickens. I never will have chickens. But like, don't take their eggs. Like, let them rot then.
But that's what I don't like. That's the thing, is that like, okay, so you have the chickens and the chickens lay eggs and, you know, they sit there and rot or whatever else, like the case may be. First of all, how did you get those chickens? Because obviously all of those chickens are females. And so what you have to think about on top of just like what kind of life you're giving your chickens and what you're taking from the chickens and stuff like that is like, where did those chickens come from? Because the only chickens that lay eggs are female chickens. And so at some point in the line, you've got to have somebody eliminating all of the males out of the equation in order for you to get those female chickens. And so if you think that like from every single egg that is produced by a chicken that's laying eggs to turn into other chickens, 50% of those will be male, and those males are useless as laying chickens, what happens with those eggs? And the truth is that after those eggs hatch and the baby chick comes out and it's a male, they literally, and you can look this up, throw them in a grinder alive. Chicken in the blender alive, because it's useless. And so it's great that you'll like provide your female chickens with this great life and then eat their periods. But the females had to be picked out of a group, and that group was half males, and the males had to die in order for those females to be produced for you.
Thoughts on palm oil? Palm oil.
Thoughts? I thought you said thoughts on Paw Patrol.
Paw Patrol. I can't stand it. Palm oil. Palm oil. Someone asked.
Palm oil it's a difficult thing because it is technically, I mean, it's plant-based for sure. It's 100% plant-based. There's no live animals ground up or anything like that that goes into palm oil. But it is a cause of deforestation and stuff like that. What I feel about palm oil is that there's some companies right now who are putting a sustainable label on palm oil, and there's a lot of arguments about whether or not the palm oil that is labeled, sorry, Alex at home with the kids. There's a lot of arguments right now about whether or not the palm oil that is labeled as sustainable palm oil is actually produced in a sustainable way and does not affect animal habitats in order for it to be produced. The thing that I will say though is that in the world today, if you can't, like if you absolutely can't avoid something, and sometimes that's really hard, going the sustainable way, going the ethical way, and I'm not talking about meat because there's no way to kill someone ethically, really, because I would do that. But going the sustainable way, you know, brings light to issues and makes things better and makes people think about better ways of producing them. And for something like palm oil, I do think that there are better ways to produce it. I am not hardline anti-palm oil. If my kids, you know, want to eat Oreos or something like that, which yes, do have palm oil in it, then they'll get it. I don't buy them, but like other people will buy them for my kids. And so I am not like totally anti-palm oil, but I do think that there's better ways of producing it, and that if you can, for instance, like with Ritz crackers, there's off-brand Ritz crackers, and then there's Ritz crackers. The off-brand ones don't have palm oil in them. The Ritz ones do have palm oil in them. I would try and buy an off-brand as opposed to buying the palm oil brand. But I'm not like so hard line against palm oil that I'm like, no kids, you can't have an Oreo because it has palm oil in it. So I don't know. Some people would argue that I'm not a vegan because of that. But in my opinion, veganism is not about making life so hard for people that like they don't know what the rules are. It's about doing the absolute best that you can to make the world a better place.
No one's gonna be perfect. No one's gonna be perfect.
And that's the other thing is like a lot of people have come to me and they've been like, oh, well, I've been trying to go vegan for years, but it's just the cheese and then I have cheese and then I just go back to, you know, not being vegan. And I'm just like, I feel like sometimes like by making rules for the vegan community about like what's acceptable and what's not, we really push people away from actually taking that step and becoming vegan or becoming as close to vegan as possible. Because for someone to say, oh, I couldn't stop eating cheese and therefore I didn't become vegan, and then you look at their diet and they're still eating meat every day of the week, I would much rather that people feel like they can still be included in the veg community as someone who only eats cheese but avoids every single other thing. So I think that there is definitely a problem with being too hardline about things and being too hardline vegan, that like it pushes other people away and stuff like that. But I think that like people should all do the best that they can. And I think that like the first place that everyone can for sure start 100% is just by not eating animal bodies anymore, because their bodies are their bodies. And every single time that you pay for an animal's body, what you're doing is you're giving someone money to kill more animals.
And that's exactly how I transitioned. I started with getting rid of meat, and then I got rid of eggs, and dairy was the hardest, even though I'm lactose intolerant. But dairy was the hardest, so I slowly cut it out, and then I cut it out completely. Yeah, like, but meat is like honestly the easiest. And once you stop eating meat, meat looks so gross. Like I hate looking at flyers. I hate looking at grocery flyers because it's so nasty. Someone, I don't know where it was, there's something about shampoo. Do you make your own soaps and shampoo?
Michelle's just going to sit back and not answer any questions.
Oh, I can answer it. Oh, no, I don't. I'm pretty sure I'm just like moderating it, and you're the one they're asking. But
what?
I make my own. My shampoo bar, I buy shampoo bars from Lush. And like my hand soap is from Rocky Mountain Soap. Like I try to support companies that have vegan products. Obviously, I'm not going to buy something that's not vegan, but like more like natural homemade stuff. I have conditioner right now that's Lush, but I don't really use it. I find it makes my hair greasy. Yeah, my soaps are Rocky Mountain Soap, and my shampoo.
I need to take this tape off the walls.
And my toothpaste is Lush. Lush Toothy Tabs. Why do you have tape on your wall? What else? I have
James hangs stuff up on the wall.
Lush is like my favorite.
I've never bought anything from Lush before.
Really? I started buying it forever ago because I was like, oh, it's all natural and good for me. And I was still eating animal products and whatnot. So
it's all natural. It's so good for me. Give me some of that dead animal.
Well, and that's the same as when I read that book that I can't remember the name of it that we just talked about. Like,
Comfortably unaware.
yes. So like here I am using cloth pads and Diva Cup, and I try to avoid plastic and this, that, the other thing, and here I am eating animal products, which is destroying the planet 1,000 times more.
Destroying the earth, just ravaging Mother Earth.
Yeah, exactly. Like, someone said something about snake feed, baby chickens being snake feed or something. I don't remember where the comment went.
Yeah, it says, so the males are culled for snake feed traditionally, or on my island, they're used for shows to represent the rare breed here, and some will eat them after 1 to 2 years also.
So,
Like, I don't know, like, to me, that's not an argument for getting the chickens. The fact that like someone will like kill the chicken and then like eat its body is not an argument for having chicken.
That would be like me getting Taylor, and then in like 2 to 3 years, I'm going to eat her. Like, I'm going to keep her as a pet.
Give her a good life, right?
I'm going to give her a great life. She's currently, I wish I could show you. Maybe I can. She's currently like just kind of chilling over here, all cuddly.
Oh man, she wouldn't even see it coming.
She wouldn't see it coming. I could get a knife right now and slit her throat and then eat her.
You could just have a Taylor dinner.
Yeah, but I made the mistake of getting her spayed because I can't consume her breast milk first. I should have done that first. Got a couple good years out of her like that. Made it really. She would have been comfy and all that stuff. And then I could have slit her throat. So then I would have got milk and I would have got her body. I mean, she's 6 pounds, which is pretty much the equivalent. Her dog equivalent is like you as a human. So there's not a whole lot going on in there, but I could have got some stuff.
I definitely think that if you are not exploiting the female reproductive system of an animal, you're doing something wrong.
I know, eh? And then I could have sold the puppies. I could have kept the males even, because like I could have sold the males too, because I mean, you see how cute she is. People would have bought her.
Yeah. And then you could have made money by like separating her from her babies.
Exactly. So, my previous dog, people asked me if they could breed with him. Like rent him to breed because he was really stinking cute. And he died of genetic disorders, so that would have been great.
So somebody said, I need to know what shampoo Tina uses. I actually don't use shampoo. I use whatever shampoo like the kids have in the shower, maybe like once a month, maybe less. Like if my hair gets really stinky because like I've had it like under a hat or something and it's been really hot out. But I don't use shampoo in my hair. I wet my hair every day and I will like, rub my fingers in it, and I put conditioner in my hair every day. I put Kirkland vegan conditioner in my hair, but I don't shampoo my hair. So somebody said, I'm just trying to like dig through some of this.
Yeah, I love your hair, but I would never be able to tolerate it. Like, I am low maintenance. I need something that's...
My hair is so low maintenance. I get up in the morning, I wet it, and then I literally just put conditioner in my hand. Like, not even leave-in conditioner, just the regular conditioner that other people wash out in the shower. I just put it in my hand after I'm in the shower, and I do this a whole bunch of times.
That's way more work than I do. Take like 30 seconds to comb it, and
now look what I've done. I've made that side all frizzy.
Yeah, see, it's too, and I bet you if it's like humid out, it's all frizzy and
yes.
Yeah, see, that's too much work for me.
At Veg Fest, one of my friends came and she met me and she's like, Tina, your hair, it's like a mane right now. Because Veg Fest was by the water, so my hair was essentially just like, I can't even replicate it. It was massive.
Do you remember that one time when we were supposed to meet at Veg Fest and you didn't show?
Did I not?
You came like right before closing or something. It was ridiculous. I drove and then I took the subway, and like it took me like 2-3 hours just to get there.
No, stop.
And then that was before we had ever met in person. And I made my brother come with me because I was like, there's this creepy woman online that I'm going to go meet.
Creepy? You're the creepy woman stalking me at Veg Fest.
And then you never showed. And like, as I was leaving, you're like, oh, we're on the subway now. And I'm like, yeah, we're on the subway to go home during the next 3 hour
No,
drive.
that's so sad. Why are you my friend?
Because then I bought diapers from you. Do you remember that? That's when we first met.
Yes. Yes, I remember that.
We did
So
diaper exchange out of the trunk of our cars.
so someone said, what do you think about rare breed farms rearing meat? Without the breeding for meat, the breed would just die out. Genuinely curious to hear your view. So this is how I feel about a lot of these things. Like people will tell me like, oh, well, the zoos hold on to certain animals and then like that's the last animal of their species. And if the zoos didn't keep them, then they would die or whatever else. But like, I feel like humans are trying to wield too much control over the rest of the world. If there is a rare breed of something that's going to die out, that is evolution. Like that is what happens with the world, and we have no business meddling in that. And on top of that, I am certain, 100% certain, that I would rather just let me and my children die out than have us keep reproducing and reproducing in order to make more children that we want to love, but instead you're going to kill them and eat them. Like to me, let the animal go. Like we don't need to have control over every single species in this world. And people say to me like, what about zoos? You know, some zoos have the last pandas in the world. Like put those pandas out in the wild, let them live their life, stop imprisoning them. I am certain that if a panda had to choose between living its natural life out in the wild and then going extinct, it would rather do that than live in a prison cell with no understanding of what wrong it did to get there for its entire life.
And the other thing is, a lot of the animals that are going extinct are because we are either hunting them or because of deforestation that's destroying their homes. And most of that's happening because people are building cow farms and other stupid things. So if we just stopped all that stuff, there would be less animals going extinct. Like, humans suck. And there is milk chocolate. Vegan milk chocolate. Move Free is a great brand. There's quite a few brands. If you live in Canada, Bulk Barn has a bunch of different
Move Free, yeah.
stuff. Move Free advent calendars. I'm pretty sure I ate about 10 of those this year because my mom kept sending them to me because I kept telling her I kept eating them.
I've never had a Move Free advent calendar, but I have had my kids being given the Move Free chocolate bars and I've eaten them.
Yeah, my mom sends me those and I've eaten a lot.
At least you're eating your own. I'm like, oh, guys, I don't know what happened to your chocolate. Where did you put it? Where did you put your chocolate bar?
I don't have it yet. And since my mom sends it for me. Also, Walmart has a vegan, it's not technically vegan, like in terms of like them advertising it as vegan, but a dark chocolate almond chocolate bar that is vegan. There's no dairy in it.
Someone said homeschooling questions. Your thought on Montessori Waldorf toys, early learning toys. The Grimm's open-ended toys are so beautiful. Oh my gosh. Yesterday I was online obsessing about the Grimm's open-ended learning toys because that is something that I always wanted to buy for James, but we had not had the money when James was little. And now at this point, I'm like, do I really want to invest in a whole bunch of those toys for like our last baby to play with? So
how have I ever not heard about those before?
Grimm's?
I want to get a Montessori certification, by the way. That's kind of my.
You've not heard about Grimm's toys?
No.
Michelle.
I must live in a bubble.
Look up the Grimm's colorful, I think it's called the Grimm's Colorful City. It is so cute. It's like a set of like 30 little houses and they're tall and they're colorful and they have windows on them and I love them so much.
Is this stuff I should be buying for Emirates?
Yeah, she'd probably really like them. But they're really expensive. And someone wrote, I wonder what the manufacturing process is waste-wise. I have no idea. Honestly, I have no idea about them. I just like to look at them.
But the thing is, you got to remember too that a lot of the times if you are buying high quality stuff, and you are not throwing away toys constantly, like think of those like cheap plastic McDonald's toys, right? This is going to take forever to load on there. If you are buying high quality stuff and lasting through, especially if you have multiple kids or you're able to resell it or donate it and have that life extend, the manufacturing process isn't so horrible if you get that life out of it.
Exactly. Like James and Joe have been given toys that I look at and I'm like, this toy will be broken in a month. But then I have wooden toys that I got for James when he was a baby that Lily still, she plays with it so much. There's actually like on my bed right now that Lily was playing with. But like, yeah, if you buy like good quality stuff, I mean, this toy has been through 3 kids now. It'll go through 4, and it's still almost perfect. And so even if the manufacturing process,
Melissa and Doug?
Yeah, this is the Melissa and Doug pattern blocks, I think they're called. Anyways, this was like one of the first educational toys that I bought James, and my kids have all loved it. So
yeah, Melissa and Doug I really like. I'm looking up that Grimm thing now. Colorful House.
Plan Toys is good. Grimm's.
Hap, I think it's called Hap. Oh, that is so pretty.
Did you look up the city?
Well, I'm looking at the house.
Oh.
This is how many devices I have going right now. I have my tablet here and my phone, and see, it's all colorful. Yeah, like if you look at my wish list for Emerus, it's like high quality stuff, like and a lot of it's like wooden blocks and like more of those open-ended toys than this one thing that can do this one thing. And for those that don't know me on my channel, I'm a teacher. I teach kindergarten, so my classroom is full of open-ended toys, and I don't like stuff that's very like, I don't like things that make noise. We'll just start with that. But like those toys that you press this button and it does this one thing and there's no imagination needed. I'm trying to pull up my, so I've added quite a few of those games that you play with James and Joe, those smart games things. I've added quite a few of those. Think Fun is another brand.
A lot of people have asked me for like a tour of the kids' toys, and so I've been like slowly organizing our like homeschool/games closet so that I can make you guys one of those. But I have a lot of homeschooling and unschooling and toy stuff in the works for you guys. It's just about like getting the time to actually sit down and edit all this stuff together now.
I really want to see a lot of unschooling stuff. Hape, H-A-P-E is one that I have. I really like their stuff. I have quite a few of those things. Plan Toys, Hape, a whole bunch of vegan books. Uncle Goose makes really cool kids blocks that are really
nice. Roth books?
The vegan books. That's why we don't eat animals. V is for vegan. Vegan is love. Those ones. The ones that you have. But Uncle Goose has really good high quality ones, and they have like the ones I have because I'm adopting from India. So there's Hindi blocks that I want to get her. But like if you buy high quality toys, especially if you can find them secondhand, even because of the fact that they will last you and they don't just fall apart, it's totally worth the investment. And yeah, they're totally worth paying that extra money for, especially because resale value too. Tina's sending me a bunch of stuff on links.
Were you talking to me? I left the room.
I was talking to them. I was just saying about how it's, yeah, V is for vegan.
V is for vegan by Ruby Roth. And see, this is how simple veganism is. This is literally a 20-page, one-line poem, like one line on each page, and it lays out every single vegan issue that you could possibly have in such a simple way that like kids would literally read this and completely understand what veganism is about. And that is why it's so hard to grasp what adults don't understand. Like, it is the simplest concept, and that concept is just like, we aren't here to own the earth and ravage everything and hurt animals, and we can live a perfectly good life without doing that. How did this thing turn entirely into a vegan thing, Michelle?
That's okay. I'm having fun with it. I don't remember if it's that one or one of the other ones, but like I live in rodeo country. Like I'm in southern Alberta. It is rodeo like crazy. And I had skipped through one of the books, like a preview on Amazon, and I saw a thing about rodeo, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like perfect. This is how I'm going to explain to my daughter that this is why, even though all her friends are going to rodeo, we are not supporting it. There we go.
Bullfights and rodeos, when people use animals and call it a game, contest, or sport, they forget that the animals are living beings with feelings, families, and instincts. As vegans, we do not pretend that animals are toys.
Yeah. Except for this thing beside me. Squishy, squishy, squishy. She's totally a toy. There is quite a bit someone's mentioned about negatives about Melissa and Doug. Melissa and Doug is not the best environmentally. A lot of their products, like their paints and stuff they use, aren't the best. That's why I like Hape. Their stuff, like the research that I've done into the paints and stuff that they use is a lot better than Melissa and Doug. The thing with Melissa and Doug is there's high quality and it's also more accessible. You can find Melissa and Doug stuff everywhere. So there's it's one of those things where you got to pick your battles, and if you can get a high quality Melissa and Doug puzzle as opposed to a puzzle from the dollar store, you might as well go for the better quality one. If you have the money and can afford a more ethical and higher quality in terms of the paints and stuff that they use, perfect. But yeah, talk about unschooling.
So yeah, someone wrote a comment and said, can you make more videos about unschooling? Because I researched some stuff and I was completely turned off by it. And I have to say, like with unschooling, there are a lot of different people who feel differently about unschooling and how it should work and what the rules are and stuff like that. There's a book that I'm in the middle of reading right now, which is actually right here. It's called Radical Unschooling, and it's by Dana Martin. And I'm showing you this, but I would not recommend this book to anybody that's looking into unschooling, because and radical unschooling is this idea that like of basically like radically deconstructing all the things that society all the rules that society has for kids and all the pressure that society puts on kids and stuff like that, and like not doing any of it. And I find that some of the stuff doesn't make a lot of sense. And so if you do look into like a totally radical unschooler, it's going to be really, really hard for you to accept things. It's going to be really, really easy for you to be turned off of the idea, because for instance, in this book, Dana will talk about things like how she doesn't force her kids to have any kind of diet, and they can literally eat whatever they want all day long, and how you would never force a guest that comes into your house to eat healthy food. So why would you do that to your kids? And I totally disagree with that. I think that like as a human animal, which is what we are meant to be, we're not meant to live in a society like this. What we were supposed to do and what we did do for tens of thousands of years was like move through the world as hunter-gatherers and search for things. And if you came across something like a berry bush, you would eat every single berry on that bush in order to get all the sugar and sweetness that you could out of that bush. If you came across an avocado tree, you would eat every single avocado, because it is so, so hard to find an amazing source of fat out in the world like that. And so we are meant to find those things, to seek them out, and to have as much fat and as much sugar as we possibly can in our diet, because those things are meant to be few and far between. So when you take people and you put them into a society where the things that their body is literally pushing for them to eat are in abundance, that's where we come to this world where like people are very, very overweight and struggling with their health and struggling with trying to eat a healthy diet and not understanding what health really is. And so I totally disagree with some principles of radical unschooling, because they go against the society that we live in today and kids fitting into the society we live in today. And if you want to live out in the bush and be a hunter-gatherer and let your kids eat whatever they can find or catch or whatever else, then you go for it. But in the world today, there's certain things and there's certain rules and things that are placed on children and should be placed on everyone or at least taught to everyone in order to teach people the reason why we have these cravings and the reason why we have to push them away, and actually focus on like eating what is a healthy diet and what we should naturally be eating as humans, as opposed to just like filling our face with shit all day. But so radical unschooling and a lot of the things that like Dana talks about in her book are not me. But to break down what unschooling is to me, unschooling is the idea, the principle, the theory that children are going to do whatever they can in order to fit in with the rest of society. So like the same way that your baby will start walking in order to be like everybody else around them, your kids will start learning in order to fit into the world around them. And so I keep my kids at home. I involve them in everything in my life, and naturally, without forcing them to, they will want to learn how to read because they will realize that that is a part of existing in the world today. They will want to learn how to do math because they will realize you can't play video games without it. You can't cook without it. You can't follow directions without it. You can't build without it, right? There's so many things that you need to know math for. And so they will naturally gravitate towards learning about math and towards learning to read and towards learning all these different things without ever being forced to. And the unfortunate thing, and this is what I have seen like firsthand in my life this week, because children have just gone, well, I guess it was last week, children had just gone back to school, and some friends of mine sent their kids to school for the first time, and the kids had trouble, following the rules or something like that. And then they were really miserable about going back to school. And it's like, I think that when we take all learning in the world and we say, that's what you do at school, then kids start to relate school with learning. And so going to school and not wanting to do something as simple as like standing in a line when you're supposed to, you start to get the feeling that you are bad at school and therefore you are bad at learning and you're stupid and things like that. And I didn't ever want my kids to have that idea. I want learning to be a fun thing for them, not a thing that they're forced to do, not a thing that they think that they have to do in school and so they should avoid doing it at every other time. Like, learning should be this fun, joyous thing and this way of fitting into the society that you have around you and becoming a part of it naturally. And, my kids, like James, his friends came over a couple of weeks ago and he was like, hey, do you guys want to play writing? And he started writing on the board, and, it was silly things. The dog smelled his poo. Like, he was writing things like that and all the kids were giggling, but it was a game to him, right? Like learning how to spell those words, learning how to write those words. It's a fun game. It's not something that he's been forced to do sitting in school that he now relates to like doing work or having a bad time. And to me, that's what unschooling is. It's just taking the idea of school out of the equation of learning, taking the idea of being forced to go somewhere and do something out of the equation of learning.
And like, I'm very lucky because I teach kindergarten. So a lot of that stuff, like you were saying about playwriting, I can do that in my classroom because I don't have to force my kids to write. So I was really shocked this year at how many kids by May, June, wanted to write, who in September didn't want to do anything that was like school related. And when you make it as like more of like an optional thing, but again, they want to fit in and make it more part of what society is. And in terms of like the video games and stuff, one kid learned letters because he was obsessed with Pokemon and he wanted to know how to write the Pokemon names.
Yeah.
This is a kid that could care less about anything else. He just wanted to know, how do I write these Pokemon names? But if I were to say, oh, it starts with a C, he needed to know what that letter was. So that's how we taught him letters. But any other grade, like I find the older you get, the further away from that natural learning process we get and more forced. Like there's so much like science curriculum and social studies curriculum that we don't need to know. And how much of your science do you remember from school, Tina? Probably none or very little of it.
I actually remember quite a bit of science, but just because I'm a nerd.
Okay, but like, okay, history.
The thing is that I liked to. If you don't like a subject, you will not hold on to it unless you need to.
Yeah. And there's just so much like forced education that is not relevant to life at all. Not relevant in life at all. And it's crazy how much we force kids. or I was reading something that was something like, if we started enrolling kids in school at 6 months old, in a couple generations, people would start believing that kids were not to learn to walk unless they were enrolled in school. And that's exactly how it is now.
That is so funny because that is so true. Where did you read that?
On Instagram, because that's all I do with my life is I search on Instagram. It was probably like Unschooling Dad or something like that. Probably him. But there's just so many things that we go, well, if your kid doesn't go to school, how are they going to learn X, Y, Z? And it's like, they'll learn it anyway, or they're learning it in different ways. They don't need to be shoved in a classroom with 30 other kids to learn how to do something. I do a lot of inquiry-based stuff. So like we were out, we do outdoor exploring time, which I'm going to hate this year because I'm going to do it even in winter. But we go up to where these trees are and we were finding different bugs and stuff. And we were learning about how different bugs like bury into leaves. And this was stuff that the students were interested in. It wasn't me forcing them. So like today, they all wanted to go and look up online how these bugs get into the leaves to make their eggs and blah, blah, blah. And so we're learning all this stuff and it's all just naturally coming from them. And I hate when you walk away because I feel like I'm looking at nothing.
I talked to me because I heard Lily crying and I realized that Alex was going to start getting upset soon because I told him I was probably going to be like a half hour and it's been 2 hours.
Oh, I would have said at least an hour. But there's just so many things that like if you don't force a kid to do something, they'll naturally want to do it. And you're not going to become illiterate by keeping your kids at home. Your kids aren't going to be illiterate because they'll want, like you said, to fit in with society. And they'll become literate so they can research stuff on their own to learn more about stuff they're interested in, not stuff we say that they should be interested in.
And also so that they can write silly things, to be honest. And a lot of people don't see the value in all kinds of learning. But James started out wanting just to write rude words like poo and pee. Literally, he only wanted to know how to write poo and pee. And for some people, they'd be like, oh, well, that's stupid. That's not learning. Like, how could you think that your kid's actually going to learn to fit in society and whatever if all they want to learn about is poo and pee? But in taking the word poo, all of a sudden you have this these two O's that are joined together that make a certain sound. And so I would have him write the word poo on the board and he would laugh about it forever and he'd get all of his sillies out writing how many times this word poo and whatever else. And then I said, well, what about the word two? That's kind of like poo. And he'd write the word two. And I'd say, well, what about the word zoo? What about the word, I can't think of any now, but, but and so I took these words that he wanted that were silly to him. And I ended up turning it into a learning experience that actually like totally taught, like James fully learned how to read and write just from wanting to read and write stupid or rude things. And it sounds weird to other people because they're not used to that kind of thing. But my kid naturally, for fun, without ever being forced to, learned how to write all the words that he can write today just from like the word poo, pee, shit. Like really just not how you would picture learning words.
People are talking about like the amount of kids to one adult. And that's part of like the homeschooling. Like people say, how do you fit all your stuff in one day without having a schedule and stuff? The thing is, you take the school day of 6.5 hours and you take out things like recess and lunch and gym and music, like all those like
morning announcements, calling attendance.
Yeah, you take out all of that and there's probably maybe 2 hours of academic learning. And that's only 5 days a week. 5 days a week.
And then you have to split that up between all the children because people will ask questions that are individual to their own style of learning.
Yeah. So you can probably, in what you can do at home with your kid in 30 minutes is what your kid is going to school for.
Yeah.
Basically. Because
Absolutely.
You're doing it year round. You're not the learning doesn't stop when you leave the classroom. Like my kids leave my classroom at 3:00, but learning doesn't just magically stop. Like think of you as an adult. If you want to go learn something, I wanted to learn to crochet a few years ago. I did that on my own. I watched videos. I researched things. I read books. Like as an adult, if you want to learn something, you're not going to be like, oh, I need to find a university
course to learn how to crochet.
I need to learn how to crochet through university because only those professors can teach me how to do it. Like there's no need for that. And like you can teach your kids in small increments over time. Again, like parents these days, I find as a kindergarten teacher, do not teach their kids anything before kindergarten. They expect their kids when they come into kindergarten to just magically get out of my nose, magically start learning stuff. Whereas like back in the day, which I'm totally dating myself, like our parents taught us colors and shapes and some letters and numbers, and then we built upon that. Whereas now parents are like, well, I'm not going to teach my kid the colors because when they go to school, that's when they're going to learn them. And
you know what? You'd be shocked. No, I guess you're a teacher, so you wouldn't be shocked. But people online, I would say, would be shocked at how many parents don't teach their kids anything. Like I've had friends before that like I was babysitting their kids and I sat down with all the kids at a table, and I think that this little girl that I was babysitting was 4 years old, and I drew a triangle on a piece of paper and she said, oh, what letter is that? And I'm like, it's a triangle. And then I said, what letter does your name start with? And I'm not going to say her name because like I don't want to embarrass anybody if they're on here. But I said, well, what letter does your name start with? And she goes, oh, is it a triangle? And I'm like, no, that's not a letter. Like I was just completely blown away with the fact that a 4-year-old didn't know a single letter or a shape.
So I teach 5-year-olds. My kids are 5 and then into 6. And I would say over half my class does not know what a letter is. I do assessments with them 3 times a year. And right now we're doing the fall assessments, which are the most painful because as you're pointing to a letter, they are saying some random number off the top of their head.
Oh my God.
Shapes, even they'll say different letters. Like they know, like they'll be like, oh, and it's really the number 3. So they know these magical words that parents say to them, but they have no concept of what those connections are. The amount of kids that don't even recognize their name in print is painful. Which one is your name? And they grab something, their name starts with V and they grab something that starts with L. Like no concept at all what even their name looks like, let alone how to actually spell it. And
but you know what like makes me really curious about this is like, and I don't know if it's just me, but like when I play with my kids, it's always something that is helping them learn. You know what I mean? Like from the beginning, it was like, oh, we're playing with a triangle. We're playing with a circle. Like it's always been learning games from the moment that they were born. And I don't know what I would have played with them that would have involved no learning whatsoever. Like I can't imagine.
So many parents just shove their kids in front of a TV and don't interact. I read an article the other day that was like, talking to your toddler makes them smarter. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Of course it's going to make them smarter.
You need to be told that by an article.
Like who doesn't talk to their toddler? I talk to my dog more than most parents talk to their kids. It's kind of insane. Oh, I've lost track of the comments. But like parents don't interact with their kids. Their kids don't interact with parents. I used to work in schools that were very different. I worked with First Nations schools on reserves, and the majority of those parents, I'm totally stereotyping right now because it's my experience, put their kids in front of a TV and ignored them, completely ignored them. They would come to school and not even know how to speak because of the fact that language is a two-way street. You can't just listen to a language and pick it up. You can if it's your second or third or whatever language. But to get your first language, you need that back and forth to understand how a conversation works. So kids don't learn how to have those conversations because no one is speaking to them. I mean, now I don't have those kids that don't speak. My kids that don't speak are immigrant families that the kids don't know English, but they can actually speak their first language. And I find that now being in a public system, my kids are much higher level than I've ever had before. But like parents don't speak to their kids. And I read an article years ago, like probably like 2013, that was talking about single moms that are mostly single moms by choice, single moms that are higher income earners versus 2-parent families versus single moms that are low income, and literacy rates. And parents single moms from low income were working multiple jobs. They weren't interacting with their children. Parents with two parent families, their kids were like middle of the line because most of the conversations held were between mom and dad at the dinner table or in general. They weren't held with the kids. Parents or kids from single moms, usually by choice, that are higher income earners, had the highest literacy rates because of the fact that we have no choice but to talk to our kids. We have no other adult in the house to
you don't
talk
have a
to.
husband in the house to ignore your kids and talk to.
Yeah. And exactly. And a lot more like interaction, even as babies, like talking to them as you're changing their diaper, talking to them as you're cooking a meal, just happens because we have no one else to talk to. And that's how I am with Taylor. Taylor knows the stupidest things. Like, I can't get her to sit. I can't get her to do half the stuff I would like her to. But she knows random words because I talk to her like I talk to a person, and she picks up on those things. And for children, they need that exposure to language in order to develop language. And we don't talk to our kids, like society does not talk to their kids as much as they need to in order for them to develop it. And they don't play with their kids. They put toys in front of their kids, which the toys usually do one thing and one thing only, and then expect them to learn stuff. Or put an iPad in front of them, which I don't have anything against technology, but like, you can't expect your kid to learn every single thing from an iPad.
You're like, don't put an iPad in front of your kid, and I'm sitting here with the 3 iPads for my children.
But you are the exception to the rule because you do interact with your kids. If you put Lily in front of an iPad 20 hours a day, or whatever hours she's going to be awake for, 18 hours a day, I don't know how much kids sleep these days, and just had her sit on an iPad all day, and you didn't say anything to her. You gave her food and she was on the iPad. You didn't talk to her. You didn't explain anything to her. Her language development and her literacy development would be totally different than it's going to be because of the fact that you're interacting with her.
Yep.
And that's the same with your kids. When you put a game in front of them, you're playing with them. You're not sitting there, here's a game, go play. I totally lost track of the comments, so I don't know where the heck we are.
Sorry, yeah, that's why I wasn't answering you, because I was just reading, and someone wrote, meanwhile, a great mom-to-be is struggling to become a mom while other parents ignore their children in front of the TV.
Yes, welcome to my life. Not to say I'm a great mom-to-be, but
because I have to be humble now. I'm not amazing at it. I'm sure I'm going to mess up in many different ways.
I will be better than at least 25% of the parents out there. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Michelle, your thing is all kinds of breaking up now. Anyways, listen, I have loved this conversation tonight.
Michelle, though.
It's totally, we can't hear anything you're saying.
Michelle.
What? Hello?
I just got to that comment.
Anyways, Michelle, I gotta go because Alex is probably gonna go crazy downstairs, and as soon as he gets into a bad mood, he'll just stay that way for the rest of the night. And you're gone anyway. So I am just going to say that I am really sorry, everybody, but I gotta end this here. But I'm so willing to anytime. And Michelle is just randomly cutting in and out with a couple of little garbled words like but yeah, I really do have to go. But yeah, feel free to comment what you like, and I'm sure that we'll be back another night to do this again. Right, Michelle?
I'm not saying anything. Now I'm saying stuff, but yours is choppy too. It's probably my internet.
It doesn't even sound like you're speaking English anymore. All right, I'll talk to you later.
Probably my internet.
Oh my goodness. Bye.